Tawushan Nature Reserve is by now the biggest nature preserve in Taiwan. The preserve covers 47,000 hectares of land, with a whole range of forests, from broadleaf to temperate conifer, distributed in the eastern slope of the Dawu Horst, which is in Taitung County. Mount Dawu is situated in the southern part of the Central Mountain Range. It consists of Mount Zhiben, Mount Wutou, Mount North Dawu, Mount South Dawu, and Mount Yiding, which together form a spectacular ridge that reveals a majestic vigor totally independent of human disturbance. The high mountains here enabled this land to remain beyond the cultivation of the Han people. Yet in the time as early as 400 years ago, during the Neanderthal era, there existed some large aborigine tribes. This Dawu mountainous region includes the Danan Rukai Old Community in Beinan Village, the Jieda Old Community, the Bilu Old Community of the Paiwan people in Jinfeng Village, and also the Daiban, Tuban, Xinhua communities of the Paiwan people in Daren Village. When going across the relics of these tribes, we can still see a faint picture of these people's life hundreds of years ago. Take the example of the Darumaka tribe of the Rukai people. They once built the Danan community, which consists approximately 800 people in the Kapa Liwa mountainous range that is in an altitude of 550 meters. During the Japanese occupation era, they moved to the south bank of the Danan River, and later in the 1950s joined the Dongxin village of the Beinan village. Today, this vast natural forest is under the jurisdiction of the government. Yet in the buffer zone around the area and the restricted mountain area, there still live the Aborigine inhabitants. Their connection to Mount Dawu is just like an iron chain that can never break apart, which is the source of their life and which is also embedded in the very depth of their hearts. Today, the tribe communities locate farther and farther away from the original places they lived. However, the scattered clansmen still remember the legends of their ancestors who roamed around the Mount Dawu. The two tribes, Lu people and Kai people, being merged in the natural beauty of the mountains and rivers here and nurtured by nature, have developed all kinds of simple but vivid art forms. The indigenous inhabitants have long used the stone slabs of Mount Dawu to build stone houses that are decorated with elegant lined stone sculptures. These stone houses are warm in the winter and cool in the summer. In the process of the stratification inside the tribes, the size of the stone houses and the delicacy of the sculptures all represent the status of the house owner. In front of the gate, there stands a statue that is almost the same height as a person. This is only seen in the house of the aristocrats. The vestibule of the tribal leader's house has a stone plate from and a stone column to the convenience of outdoor assembly. Since ancient times, aesthetic embroidery has adorned their clothes, long a distinctive feature of the race. Today, with the transformation of the society, their exquisite craft has become one of the means of old people to make a living. Formal attire is usually adorned with colorful embroidery, filled with geometric patterns from head to toe. The adornments made of lilies, which the girls wear on their heads and which represent their chastity, are also from Mount Dawu. The style created from the merging of nature with human culture exhibits a beauty full of local character. Besides, the people here also use the wood in this region to make a splendid array of sculptures. According to a widespread myth, Mount Dawu had an egg of a certain poisonous snake which hatched and became the ancestor of the tribe leader. Therefore, they consider the 100-paced snake as the incarnation of their ancestor. Because of this, the sculptures have been filled with the totem of the 100-step snake and the sun, which take all kinds of combinations. In addition to the art, the two tribes that live next to Mount Dawu, the Paiwan and Rukai, in order to adapt to the difficulties of living in this mountainous area, have also developed a hierarchy based on age. Young men who are from 15 to 21 must be trained in a chamber of the community in order to become qualified hunters. On the west side of Mount Dawu, the Wutai village holds the Millet Harvest Festival and a ceremony marking manhood. We can still witness the tradition of hunting and this hierarchy in both ceremonies. The chamber is the place where the heads and leaders of the tribe meet, hold meetings, and ritual ceremonies. The traditional rite, which is not only an important way for the clansmen to get together, also reveals the fact that there is a profound relationship between the indigenous inhabitants and the land. The great swing, which is in the swing riding activities, is traceable to the cradle of the princess of the Rukai tribe. Later, it develops into a sharing part of the ceremony, which is also the symbol of mutual happiness for the whole tribe. The whole swing is made of the plants taken from the region. The ropes that hang the swing are made of makuna, which is a common plant in Mount Dawu. Every year, during the days around the 15th day of the 8th lunar month, the convivial activities of the ceremony have become the collective memories of the people in Mount Dawu. On the east side of Mount Dawu, the rite of the Paiwan people of the Tuban tribe along the banks of the Daju River that comes every 5 years is even more of a gala event. According to legend, the ancestral spirits that live in Mount Dawu conduct an inspection tour every 5 years to see their descendants in every tribe, right down to the southernmost tip of Iluanbi. Therefore, every tribe must hold ceremonies to welcome and see off the spirits. The natural reverence of the clansmen for Mount Dawu is expressed by the circumspect ceremony, which is led by the Karachi along the whole process. The practice of worshiping Mount Dawu combined with the worship of ancestral spirits is a special feature in the religious belief of the Paiwan people. The sense of belonging and the fear the Paiwan people have for Mount Dawu is well expressed in the process when they welcome the ancestral spirits. The feeling they have is cautious and awesome, and at the same time, invocatory. During the half-month of activities from start to finish of the ceremony, the thorny ball, a symbol of fighting, is the climax of the whole ceremony and a metaphor for the people's longing for blessing. Using spears made of combined bamboo strips, they must stab at the balls made of bark or vine. Each ball represents different things, such as health, millet seed, etc. If you catch the ball, it means you also catch the blessing it represents. The bamboo spears will still be hung in the square after the activities are over. The first ceremony, which is full of banquets, will only end once the spirits are seen off to the south. The closing ceremony is very simple. People only prepare food as a sacrifice for the spirits who are returning to the north. In the hometown of the ancestral spirits, life and nature can never be separated. As for the Paiwan and Rukai people, Mount Dawu is their eternal home and the source of life. Since ancient times, the indigenous inhabitants have been able to lead a simple life with the plants and animals the mountain provides. Hunting and cultivation have long been a traditional lifestyle of the Paiwan and Rukai people, while the culture of gathering has been a promising industry inside the preserve. The relation between the indigenous inhabitants and the mountain will continue by organizing sightseeing tours to taste the natural cuisine. As a matter of fact, the people of Mount Dawu have long been using the plants here. The vegetation that flourishes on the forest floor has all kinds of value. Among them, the leaves of the Trochodesma casianum are used to wrap the rice cakes to enhance their flavor. This is the Avai rice cake, and it is a special delicacy of the Rukai people. The giant sword fern is usually raised by people as a potted plant. However, when stir-fried, it is also a tasty dish. The liana of the forest have also been used fully by the local people. The yellow rattan palm covered with thorns that enwraps a vine pith is widely seen in the forest. Scraping the hard bark in thin layers makes a soup that is a rare delicacy. Those parts that are coarser, when cut into thin layers, can be used to weave all kinds of vessels. The small arbors of the forest also have their own value. The Roxburgh sumac, a kind of medicinal herb, has a thin layer of natural crystallized salt in its seed, which is the major source of the salt in this mountainous region. For mountain tribes, which have no access to sea salt, these seeds are really valuable. When the branches and leaves of this plant are boiled in water, in which children then bathe, skin diseases can be effectively cured. In addition to gathering, the topography of Mount Dawu, which is rich in streams, valleys, and rainfall, also provides the local people with abundant fish. The traditional practice of fishing based on the season and climate involves putting a net beside the water and waiting. This practice is useful in the spring when clusters of crabs emerge. People will always have a good catch after waiting half a day. The common duris is usually collected from the mountain region. This vine, when crushed and rubbed, will produce a white juice that stuns the fish when the juice is poured into the water. By using this, the fishermen need only wait downstream and can catch the fish easily. However, this means of catching fish has been banned inside the preserve. For the Rukai and Paiwan people who rely on the mountains, hunting not only provides most of the food they need, it is also a test of their courage and ability. Traditionally, hunting involves many kinds of ceremonies, and the right to use the hunting ground is inherited from generation to generation. In the past, people held ceremonies to beckon animal spirits before they went out to hunt. This kind of ceremony involved begging for the blessing from all spirits, while also repelling the evil spirits from your body. That is to say, it served as a repentance and appeasement for hunting and slaughter. Today, only a few old people in these tribes know how to set a trap. Everything that is needed for setting the trap is taken from local materials. People will obey the rules of not hunting for cubs or breeding females. This also displays the respect that the local inhabitants have for this land. When the trap is being set, all tracks must be covered. Then some plants are placed beside it as a mark to prevent some people who are ignorant of the trap from falling in. Today, most Aborigines use traps and steel traps to hunt. Hunting is only legal during the festival period. As a result, the downfall of hunting seems inescapable. Looking back at tradition, the Aborigines on Mount Dawu are struggling between the hunting ban and wildlife poaching. The question of how to find a balance between nature and human activities really deserves our consideration. Today, in a society that is dominated by business and commerce, the indigenous inhabitants of Mount Dawu have had to give up their autonomous way of life. Today, the Aborigines have gradually become modernized, leading to an erosion of traditional natural ethics. Luckily, the people of Mount Dawu, under the common agreement of self-rule by local inhabitants, are holding all kinds of activities in an attempt to restore the forest and traditions. We firmly believe in an age when in situ conservation has become a global trend. By cooperating with the local people and preventing poaching, we will rediscover the wisdom of our ancestors for living harmoniously with nature. Let all the people of Taiwan share the beauty of nature. This is an absolutely important mission to preserve this sustainable cultural and ecological area.